The further and further I recede into my ever-growing obscure music depository, the more I come back to one artist that has stuck with me, and that is Your Arms Are My Cocoon, aka Tyler Odom, whose move to Chicago in 2020 inspired them to mash the two opposing genres of acoustic and electric instrumentation with harsh screams and emotional lyrics. But since we live in the current era, we only have one official Your Arms Are My Cocoon album, with the other two releases being splits with other artists, all of which you should be intimately familiar with as a right of honor, also because Raisin Lungs is one of their best songs. But now that we're done talking about that, let's talk about more artists that are like Your Arms Are My Cocoon. Let's get the first and most obvious example, number 1, the Civil War in France. This two-piece queer trance collective from Philly, who have been making music since at least 2020 according to their description on their first album, The Civil War in France, are one of my favorite fifth wave bands to come to prominence. Their self-titled was recorded between January and May 2021, and written from some time between mid-2020 and May 2021. The album is about relationships, be they parental, romantic, platonic, etc., and I think it balances the mental absurdity and ear-piercing screams with some of the most moving production in recent fifth wave canon. Its 8 tracks only add up to about 13 minutes, with the longest being 2 minutes long, but it doesn't bother me. It actually made this video a lot easier to make. I'll give a small rundown of each of my favorite songs.
Vendémiaire
Functions as the intro and opening statement to the record. If you don't like this song, then you will not like the rest of the record because, believe me, it doesn't change much. Eva Hammersla recorded the majority of the music on here by herself, but did bring in additional help with adding backing vocals.
Brumaire
Is my favorite song. It was used as a single, and I see why. Its glistening, bit-crushed synth chords float over tactile drums like a dream, not to mention the vocal refrain, which is the real centerpiece of the track. The way that Eva recorded her vocals brings a real staccato feel to the song, though I do have to admit the screaming on the song is a bit unintelligible, and I needed to look up the lyrics to understand what was going on. But my favorite batch of lyrics is, "And so I scream again till my face is red. I've got dead friends and dead ends, and I'm trying to meet them, and I'll fight them till I can't again." The track stays the same for the majority of its duration.
Nivose
The first time I looked at the lyrics and saw the words, "The ever-walking city slips by. As you drive, I think I need some time," I knew this was one of my favorites. Again, it's another short track, but each song feels like Eva is trying to get every last drop of emotion out of themselves before the song ends. The song is very similar to
Brumaire
with the quiet electric guitar backing and synthesized drums. The Civil War in France has released a couple more splits and EPs since they're self-titled, but I recommend people check out specifically Hey Could You Be a Little Nicer and Kiss Me Kiss Me. No, not that one. The next band I'm going to talk about is Bright Little Stars from Houston, Texas. BLS is a Scrams project that's been making music for a little over a year and a half now. The first project that I heard was Our Bodies Were Sprawled Out on the Floor, whose runtime is exactly the same as the Civil War in France's debut that I just talked about. And since we're directly comparing the two albums, I feel like the Civil War in France's album is probably better than this one, but I wanted to mention this artist because the next release, Haunting My Dreams. The first song,
Haruhara Haruko
is a pretty blissful opener with lots of sine waves pulsing like little staircases in the background, while this absolutely agonizing screams take over the rest of the song. I think the most put together track is the last track called Forgiveness, with an explicit lyrical theme outlined in the lyrics that I'll read now. "The changes that flow through me, do they flow through you too? It's like a third-degree burn kept on burning and melting my skin until there was a clear hole stretching from my palm to the back of my hand." This, along with the beautiful guitar playing and almost 5-minute runtime, makes this a super solid closer. I did want to talk about one more song though. The last track I want to talk about is Coffee Stains. When it comes to these really short songs, this one's only a minute, I really only look for one thing. Does it slap? And in this case, yes it does. The spontaneous frenetic math rock riffage and high-pitched drums collide rather beautifully. The last artist I wanted to talk about goes under the alias Lilac Roadkill. You guys might be looking at this and say, why are you putting a band that actually has a sense of melody and maybe has been making music longer than 2 years? Well, I think if I had to listen to another detuned, distorted electric guitar and despondent screaming record, I might not be here tomorrow. In all seriousness, I was being serious. Lilac Roadkill is a band that was suggested to me by one of my comment sections, and if you guys know anything about me, I take my comment sections very seriously. I found some of the most inspiring and generally thought-provoking music just from giving a recommendation a chance. So on the second to last day of school, I rode on the train and listened to this album, and originally I was pretty split on it. After multiple listens, I really do appreciate what's going on here, and the musicianship here is truly on another level compared to these other albums. Not to discredit those albums, because obviously I just showed them a whole bunch of praise for however long this video has been going on, but this truly does feel like it was made by somebody who knows what they're doing. Alright, let's talk about the goddamn music. The first song you have to listen to is Nativity Scene. This song does everything right from its pacing to its guitar noodling and vocals. This song is flawless in my opinion, and it played in my head long after it was done. It might not be as overly hardcore as some of the other artists, but if you appreciate good emotional art, then this should be right up your alley. The next song is Crush, which is an energetic indie rock cut with these guitar arpeggios and pummeling bassline that keeps the track in rhythm. You can hear the Weather Day influence, especially on the latter half of this song when it completely breaks down and starts playing this classical sample of some sort, and then quickly goes into the outro section. I think I know the musical motif that this is trying to copy. It's trying to be like that part halfway through My Sputnik Sweetheart when the choral sample comes in, but if I'm being honest, that part of the song is not my favorite in either of these versions. I found it kind of unnecessary, but who cares? I really just included this part because I needed to find something bad to say about this record. The last song I'm going to be talking about in this video is Black Diamond. The song is split up in 3 separate sections, the first and last being pretty similar. Both are high-energy riff-based parts, but the outro bridge is what really made my ears perk up. There's a wide array of synths used on this album, and it's always included in a meaningful way that makes the track better, so it's a nice addition. I wanted to highlight the lyrics. I just want to feel something better than alright. I just want to sleep a little easier tonight. Those are some good-ass song lyrics that I feel so hard. If you don't feel like giving them a shot, you're a stronger soldier than me. All 3 bands will be linked in the description. Please check them out. All of them have under 10,000 listeners, except Your Arms Are My Cocoon, as of me recording this. But if you care about music and want to give them a spin, check them out on Bandcamp and give them a spin, buy their record, whatever, or listen to them on Spotify. And that's going to bring us to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it and found a new band. I'm working on that next Grimes video and another Local Legends video, as well as my band Demistar is playing 4 shows in the next 2 months. So for the 0.1% of you who live in Sacramento, follow my band on Instagram, see where the shows are at, whatever. Thank you guys for listening. All right, goodbye.